Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Shifting Gears. I am your host, Clutch, and I am joined by 6 guests this evening, listing them off. MLG Wigan, MLG Omerta, Tumba SC, if he shows up, we don't know what happened to him, Adabizi, Nursky, and Dylan, all contributing members to the community of esports. These guys make esports happen. They are keeping it alive. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to go down, introduce yourself a little bit more in depth of what do you do, how you're involved with esports, and why you are so privileged to be on my show. Now, that's a dick thing to say. We'll start with you, Dave, also known as Wigan.
And I have a mohawk, and that's pretty much it. It's very true.
He has a mohawk, that's right. So let's start this again because we were on mute. Thank you,
Nice.
XSplit. XSplit updates are fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shifting Gears. I'm your host, Clutch, and joining me tonight are 6 incredible guests. These guys make esports happen. We're going to go down the line, have them introduce themselves and how they're involved. Let's start with MLG Wigan.
Hello, I'm Wigan. I'm a referee for MLG for StarCraft 2.
All right, Omerta.
I do StarCraft 2 content at the events, the live events for MLG.
Okay. Tumba, unfortunately, has not been able to make it yet, but we'll skip down over to Adabizi.
Well, I'm Adabizi, of course. I've done a lot of casting. In terms of general esports, my regular gig is kind of the Korean Weekly, but then I've done a lot of stuff for MLG. And then for this weekend, I'll actually be doing the dedicated observing on the mainstream, which is something I'm looking forward to.
Cool. Nursky?
I, of course, am Nursky. I do commentary. My regular gig is over with Zeke doing their 2v2, and I'm going to be doing their EU tournaments twice a week as well. And then I have a show, actually, I'm starting tomorrow with the ESV map-making team that I'll plug later on.
All right. And Dylan?
I am the content producer of all the fighting games in the world. And here's a code if anybody wants a Mortal Kombat thing, if you can read it at all.
Just send that in Skype.
Highly
to us.
legible.
You can read it.
Just give it to us.
Now, what's the code
Boom.
for?
It's actually the soundtrack to Mortal Kombat. Boom. Do it.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's cool. Did that come with the PS3 version of the game?
It did.
I knew I should have got PS3, man, because it had Kratos in it as well. But I'm glad I got it for the 360 because the whole PlayStation Network went down for a month after that game came out. But that wasn't Mortal Kombat's fault. Anyways, tonight we have a variety of topics. First and foremost, going to talk about StarCraft 2, some recent tournaments that occurred and their victors. And we're going to move into the MLG roster and predictions of what we think is going to happen in Columbus. Very big events just around the corner. And talk about some of the other games on the forum, some predictions, and then the biggest announcement that's happened in the world of video games, Diablo 3, May 15th. Very exciting news. Let's go ahead and start off with the Red Bull LAN. Rhett wins. Rhett wins the Red Bull LAN. I saw parts and pieces due to my schedule. Wasn't able to see a lot of it, but I liked what I saw. It was different in terms of the presentation of the tournament. There was more in depth with the different players. I saw a lot of the chef interview that they did with his background. But starting off with Wigan and going down the line, how did you guys feel the entire tournament went?
I think it went great. It's one of those really cool events that's just as much for the players as it is for like the spectators and stuff like that. It's one of those things that I wish I was good enough at StarCraft to get invited to because it just looks like a blast. So just kind of really glad that that kind of thing exists for StarCraft.
All right. Omerta?
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, the whole purpose, I think, of that LAN is for players to go and, like, work on really specific things. And Red said he was going there. I don't know if it was playing the entire weekend or just at the end, but his plan was to get better at ZVP. And he 5-0'd 2 of the best formed Protosses out there, Sase and, what was it, Naniwa? Yeah, Sase and Naniwa, to win it. So, I mean, he obviously improved in his EVP. Looked really, really scary there at the end. So it was cool to watch that all kind of go down.
Adebisi.
I didn't watch a super ton of it. I watched a fair amount, though. I enjoyed it a lot, actually, what I did see. I was mostly watching the Lone Star Clash, which I'm sure we'll probably talk about, too. But I really think it's cool. I think it's awesome to see Rebel getting more involved. And I really think they, really improved from the one they did last time. By doing the 4 focus player things, there's kind of, a continuity to it that didn't really exist with the way they did it the first time. So it was awesome. It's good overall, and I mean, it was good to see Rhett doing well. Rhett is someone that he's due for a big win, I'd say. He's right up there with the other top tier foreigners, and it's good to see him doing well. I hope he'll continue to do well.
Ersky?
I really like the idea of the format. I think having a giant pro training group is interesting because it adds different flavor to your normal tournament, right? Everybody's seen tournaments at the tournament, but actually watching the players work on something that they have trouble with, some of the times I tuned into it because I was kind of splitting time between the Lone Star and stuff too, like Adebisi was talking about. It was really interesting to watch, have Day 9 and DJ Wheat, and they're commentating, but they're not commentating like this is just a tournament game. They're talking about what, for instance, with Rhett, he needed to work on, and they were talking about how he was adjusting to what he was trying to work on and what he was doing wrong and right and how it was going with him, and I think it made for a lot more interesting flavor than just your normal run-of-the-mill tournament, and then you had that tournament at the end, which I think just caps off what's really ends up being a really unique and cool weekend, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it seemed the pace was slower, but also they could take more time I can't even say it right now. Analytically? There we go. Thank you, Tong. Of going over the different games, and I saw Day 9 and DJ Wheat going over a lot of different strategies or picking apart different sections of the game of what went wrong or what went right and when this changed the game. So it was really cool to see that kind of format. And also, I believe that Red Bull has said they have announced more events that will happen in the future. 4 more?
4 more this year. Yeah, that's what they said. They said the cities too. I know Slash retweeted about it, but I don't know off the top of my head. But they were cities that haven't really been hosting stuff cities that haven't done MLGs. So it's cool because it's people that it's good, more shit, right?
Yeah. No, it's great. And sometimes it's nice to take a step back and get to know these players a little bit better, and not just interviews of what was life like when you were a kid, but to look at their metagame, to look at their different strategies and build orders, and to break those down a little bit more. Because the marathons that are MLG or other style tournaments, it's who wins, who loses, who wins, who loses. So it's a cool concept. We'll see what their next events will be. Hopefully they won't overlap other events because that's turning into a real problem this year. I thought these different tournament organizations would have learned last year when to have proper communication so these players wouldn't be so freaking...
It's only going to get worse, man.
I know, man. I feel bad for the players because a lot of them want to make these different tournaments and their travel schedules are destroying their health, it seems. But that's a different argument altogether. Whoa, I think we got Tumba in. And so...
Oh.
Is he here? Hold on.
All of the images
I am,
messed
in
up.
fact... yeah, that's what I do, man. I crash the party. That's how I roll, son.
Okay, why I reset all the videos since he came in, but we're excited to have you. Let's talk about the Lone Star Clash.
Well, I wasn't there. I was at the Red Bull. How do you want to talk about the
We're
Lone
done
Star?
with the Red Bull land, man.
Okay, well, the Red Bull...
No. Since Tama came in, we'll have him
He's
talk
late,
about the Red Bull
punish
because
him.
he was there.
He's late. Punish him.
Fuck it, just restart the show. Just,
Wigan! I missed you.
Welcome to Shifting Gears.
Oh my gosh.
but remute it so we can get the whole vibe again.
Yeah.
Okay, forget. What did I miss on the Red Bull land? Because since I was there...
Everything.
Just your thoughts on it.
Your thoughts. That's what we're going through.
Quick thoughts on it.
People aren't really, they don't get the concept, I think, because they just want to watch a tournament. However, I think certain players will really enjoy it because I really feel like they will benefit from it, where other players won't enjoy it as much, and it may not transition. So over the long run, Red Bull will sort out who wants to be there and who will benefit from it, and that will create a better player experience, which should translate to a better user experience, and hopefully they get more butts in the chairs, as it were, that way, because a good crowd obviously transitions to a better vibe. However, it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, it's an intimate setting, and Marcus and Sean and all those guys, and Rob Simpson, of course. Cammie was there. She was doing production, so they had a very talented staff at Full Sail at their disposal, and everything felt really cool. It just needs to become more popular, I think. And the Lone Star, man, woo! They just knocked it out of the park. Quantic really showing what they can do.
Quantic Gaming. Quantic.
Yes.
Quantic Gaming.
That's what I said. Quantic.
I know. That's what
Watch
I
his
said.
video.
Have you seen the video I made about that?
I didn't. Oh, because you
Screwed up Naniwa's team last time, and then he changed teams
don't do that
again. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But yeah, Quantic really, they know what they're doing evidently in live production as well. And hats off to the college kids there, also that put so much time in. And also Tespa did really good. Not Kespa, but Tespa, the Texas Esports Association.
CSN too.
CSN was there.
Oh yeah, man, CSN did phenomenal. And I was trying to get on a flight out there so I could do the Red Bull on Saturday and catch the end of that on Sunday because, of course, Bitter was there and Rotterdam and everything. So wanted to finally meet Rotterdam for once, and couldn't get a flight though, unfortunately, out of Orlando. So
that's too bad.
Elbow.
That's too bad. Being there, what was the crowd like compared to other tournaments?
are you still talking to me at Red
Red
Bull?
Bull Land.
Yeah, Red Bull.
The crowd wasn't huge. It was a college campus, and I think that was sort of, I didn't even know it was going to happen until 2 days before it did, right? So I think, but I don't think Red Bull minds that. Like, Red Bull's got the money and the patience. The real thing that intrigues me about Red Bull is money and the patience. They're in it for the long haul, and they do it differently than any other company does. They're willing to sustain more losses in order to do it their way and what they feel is the right way, which I commend them for, because I don't think there's enough of that in esports. I think too many companies are like, what's my return on investment? Why am I not seeing that? You told me we would have 50,000 and you only had 45,000, so this isn't equitable for me. No, they don't do any of that. They're building it ground up, and they're doing it their way, which I can admire. But the crowd wasn't huge. Sunday had the most people because I think it's the format that most people were comfortable with, because it's a tournament aspect, right?
I got a question. Did you check out any of the Halo going on?
I did not, although it was over to the left side, and they did I did not, although it was over to the caster who retired with a 14
What,
karat.
Walshy?
Walshy, yeah, Walshy got like a 14 karat gold Astro headset, which was pretty cool. So
okay.
Yeah. And Red Bull also, Clutch, you had something else that Red Bull did that was really neat. I actually got a picture of what they did was they paid the players in cash. Which I think
bills, right?
Yeah, still, it looks cool. Dollar bills or hundreds, it doesn't matter. It looks
No, it is cool. It reminds me of like in the World Series of Poker when it's down to heads up and they walk out with the giant trays of cash. It's like, damn.
Why nobody has done that, Michael, I have no idea, because that is...
No, I'm with you, man. I agree, man. If, just think back to Providence. If they had trucked out however much cash there is and put that on the stage between, the two players during the finals, it'd be kind of hardcore.
One thing is,
message.
Binion's hotel and casino, I know this from years of experience there, they have phenomenal security as well. Fucking all that money out to an MLG.
It is a bit of a liability, correct?
With that many kids there, it'd be like, hey, I think we can take them, and I am 99.9% sure that Adebisi would be leading that charge, by the way, with a ski mask on.
Might happen.
No, man, he's Canadian. They
I know,
don't
the
have crime up
American
there.
dollar is doing terrible now. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
That's true.
Who could commit a crime in Canada when you got those Mounties with the slick outfits and they got the hat and the horse? And it's scary,
He's
man.
got a green screen behind him. Are you serious? He's got like a studio there?
I do, man.
He's so awesome. When I grew up, I wanted to be
just
just like
building a fort.
Yeah.
It's my it's
broadcast
my
fort.
I got like a box over the top of me, and I hide in here, and then I look out my window, and I'm like, oh, I see people.
Well, let's shift gears into the Lone Star Clash. Stefano wins. This kid is on fire, and we'll get to him in a bit. But
Fuego.
This production was very well done, considering that it was college kids. putting it together. They had a lot of. This is through Full Sail University. Was this at their campus?
No, Full Sail was Red Bull. This was
okay. That's right. That's right.
It was TESPA. I don't know the university. I know there's
the I'll let you know in a second.
Okay. Yeah. Red Bull Land was at Full Sail, and this was at a university in Texas, but I don't remember the official.
It was in Austin, right? But
yes,
Texas.
I don't know if they talked much about it, did they? The university.
No, I didn't hear that much about the university itself. I didn't hear any plugs to the university or any kind of programs.
I'd have been University of Austin.
So, yeah.
I know they got great support from the university, though, so...
Be great if we could support them back.
I don't know what university it is.
That'd be great.
They're supportive.
Here's a brochure. This is great for your kids. This is tuition's like. Yeah, but it was another good production. It wasn't half-assed, as they say, in some of these leagues or tournaments. And when you have seen or heard of different tournaments, especially one that happened in the Philippines where some bad things occurred and some people that were in charge of that tournament should not have been morally. It was good to see that a lot of hard work that these guys prepared for came out on screen, came out in the tournament, and the community really enjoyed it. So it was really good to see. And it was cool to see a state of the game. It was pretty late, but you got to see these guys talk about how they set it up and the players and their enjoyment of it as well. A lot of people watched it, I believe, because of Whiterut and Stefano being there and the friendship that they forged.
Well, yeah, and Quantic again, just to mention, because they refused to clutch, and I'll be damned if in 2 days you're not going to remember that name Quantic every time Naniwa shows up. So I'm going to be using these references throughout the entire show. They sent their two best players to Red Bull. Naniwa wasn't there, and he is by far, and he is probably, unless Adebisi disagrees with me, top 2, at least, best foreigner out there. I mean, he's in Code S. He's beaten the world's best Zergs.
He's seeded into Code S. It's not like...
Okay, well, he's Code S.
His GSL record is pretty terrible. But I would agree. I would probably agree.
I mean, as far as foreigner goes, he showed... And then Sase, who is not as good, but still another great member from Quantic. Those two weren't there at the Lone Star, so I think it could have very easily been a Stefano Naniwa final there.
Yeah. Could have
been.
The
Muslim looked pretty good, too. That guy's been on a tear lately.
Who's that, Nursky?
The Muslim?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's been on a tear lately. He's been looking a lot better. A lot of those nerves he used to have, it seems like he's starting to get over and really starting to look like a potential top foreigner in the not-too-distant future.
I was a little bit disappointed with his games against Bling, but I know he was busy. He was casting like every night for the EG Masters Cup, and so it kind of takes out some of your practice time, but he did pretty well outside of that.
So let's talk about Stefano, all right? He wins the Lone Star Clash. What is it about this guy? Is it the moisturizer? It's
X Factor, man.
It's the X Factor. Is it Zerg at this point?
It's not Zerg.
Right.
I think
that's part of it, man. No, if he was playing Protoss, he wouldn't be doing this well. Like, I think
he would. The guy's timing.
I disagree.
Impeccable.
I think the guy could do it with any race. I don't think it's race dependent. I think he's that talented.
I think he'd be like a top tier player, but I think it's kind of a perfect storm thing. That's what I would say.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with Adebisi here. Like, he's obviously a very good player, but he's just sort of found this niche where he has this really, really nice style as Zerg right now, and just nobody knows how to deal with it. Like
it's like he does the same thing every time, but they're like, what do I do again? I don't know how to do, It's like they just...
Yeah.
And, so...
I mean, if you watch him, though, like, his decision-making, it reminds me of when Nesty was doing really good in those first couple of GSLs. Like, his decision-making is impeccable. He very rarely makes a poor decision at any point in the game. Like, he knows exactly when he needs to cut drones and build army. He knows if he can engage an army or if he should counter. Like, he never typically makes a bad decision. You see him counter sometimes and he'll do a ton of damage, and sometimes he'll be like, oh, I can take this army, and he'll just take it out, and then he'll end up winning the game. But his decision-making is always impeccable. Like, he doesn't typically make, like, a bad decision. He doesn't take a bad engagement. He doesn't waste his units ever.
Well, it's hard to make a bad decision when you have like 60 more supply and roaches than the entire Protoss army. Like, it's
but you say that like it's any Zerg can do it though. But that's what I mean. Like, not every Zerg.
I mean, look how good Rhett was doing, like against parting and.
So are we saying
their
there's an imbalance here between?
No, absolutely
No,
not.
we're
I'm
not.
just saying
We're
it's
not
the perfect
arguing
storm.
balance. We're not arguing balance on this show.
I'm just saying that it's like it's the perfect storm of him just he's ahead in the metagame right now. It's just like Terran players when it was the Golem TBT. It's like they're doing better because they played Terran. It's not that it's imbalanced. It's just where the game is at right now. And then you combine that with just how goddamn good the guy is, and it's just like it's just so hard being this consistent. It'll be interesting to see how he does at MLG because I mean this was a 16-man invitational.
Yeah.
I mean the only Korean he actually played in this tournament was Polt. So you kind of have to, you know, Polt got knocked down to Code B, right? Like he's one of the best Terrans in the world, but the guy still did get knocked down to Code B.
Yeah.
That GSL is rough.
Yeah,
definitely not to take anything away from.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, he's the best.
No, but he makes a good
By
point,
far.
right? Because it's like if you want to be respected in amongst your peers as a professional gamer, you've got to win a tournament with Koreans in it, like loaded with Koreans in it. So not taking anything away from Stefan.
Well, I mean, he's done that too. He won.
Yeah.
IPL.
He was loaded. IPL 3 was pretty loaded. So
Yeah, no doubt. No, and again, taking nothing away from Stefano, I just feel like this event wasn't a walkover for him, but I would have expected to have seen him in the finals, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and I feel that the community is going to bring up because of all these different scheduling conflicts or different tournaments happening, maybe not overlapping, but because of travel schedules, they can't make both. Well, yeah, he won, but if so-and-so was there, they would have won. Or if so-and-so was, you know, if you only had half the Koreans there, and if they were there, it would have been totally different.
Yeah.
We got to take every tournament as it comes, and you have to recognize that player for winning that event, period. You can't theory craft of who was there, and then this would have happened. That's not how it goes. I mean,
oh yeah, but that's the fun though, man. That's like any other sport. That's like any other. That's
the fantasy
that's the good part about it.
Yeah.
Sure. That's why. I mean, we're so invested in these players, right? Like, I would have loved to have seen, a Naniwa there. Not that there is nothing against what happened, but like you said, these conflicts occur. But you know what? I don't think it took anything away from the tournament. The tournament was still phenomenal.
No. I just
especially for what it was. I mean, you look at what that tournament was. It's like this was, built off of a CSL tournament. And they're like, let's have an invitational with pro players at the same time. And it's just like, I don't think anyone was expecting it to be the quality that it was. So it's just awesome. And I want to say, too, I want to talk a little bit just about how they worked with the CSL. And it's such a challenge to try and mix in CSL games with the pro games because, like, it's the same thing as mixing in different games. It's like when DreamHack was doing all the finals together and when IPL 3 tried to put the League of Legends on the mainstream. It's like people want to see the pro invitational. They don't really want to see the CSL matches between high masters and grandmaster players. Like, they want to see the professionals. So I think they were very good about how they kept the balance. I think things ran a little long, so it didn't quite work out as well. But I think it's an awesome, concept. And I mean, if you look at some of Heaven's Light he's basically a CSL player. I mean, he's a student, but he took out In Control and he took out Select, which is just crazy. So cool stuff, I'd say.
Well, if you look at it obviously without that invitational tournament, you're not going to get as many eyeballs on it. You're not. Because I went
1%.
and just 2 weeks before I was casting over at the Midwest Meltdown LAN, which was purely CSL in an open bracket that didn't really have a ton of big name players or anything like that. The biggest people there were guys like Everrise and Puck and stuff, which are GM level players, but nobody really knows who these guys are yet, right? So I think their viewer count was 2, 3, maybe 400 at times. Because if you don't have those big names, it's just so hard to get the amount of eyeballs. But I think going back to what you were trying to talk about, Clutch, with the production and stuff, the production was off the hook. You can give credit to Quantic, give credit to the college students and stuff, but I think we could only maybe in the future see more of this, because it's a college campus, if you think about it, with college students and the amount of stuff that you have at a college campus for production.
It's perfect.
Is a perfect setup, exactly. You essentially have a studio or at a stage already somewhere on the campus. You have a ton of camera equipment because almost every single college has some kind of film school. And then you have a basically instant audience because you have all the college kids with nothing better to do. And you have all these students who are either going there to like learn film or learn acting. You got all these
free labor
set designers, exactly,
more or less,
and
but it's experience for them. Yeah,
you can make a great production with volunteers who are just going to be willing to do it because it's like, oh, this is cool. I get to be on a stream that 30,000 people watch, and really all they need is the sponsors to throw some money at them. I think in a way, events like this TESPA event down in Texas. I mean, it should be, I think, an eye-opener for some of the sponsors out there that you don't necessarily have to throw all your money just at an MLG or an IPL to get a real quality product and get a lot of viewership for your brand. You can throw some money at a college campus with a bunch of college kids, and they can put on a really, really good show that's really up there in level with an Assembly or Home Story Cup or anything that maybe even slightly better in some ways.
Yeah, well, even if esports starts to open up at a collegiate level itself, or for example, you can set up a tournament and you have Berkeley versus some other school, Georgia State, and they're both StarCraft 2 players. You have like 6 players, right? And it's one night only, but you invite 2 pros for an exhibition match.
Right.
Okay. That's something that some sponsors want to put some money into because you make it a one-night event, so your production cost is cut down from having like a 3-day-long tournament. And all you have to do is fly in those pros and take care of the lodging, and the rest of the players are going to play the tournament. It's going to be these people that nobody really knows. You make it a one-night thing, but then they get their names out there if they perform very well. You have that rivalry between the 2 schools. And then you have the pros there that everybody would love to see, either in person or online. So I think it has a lot more potential for smaller sort of style tournaments, but also can draw in a lot of numbers online because most of us are college kids or at that age that are interested in esports.
And like if you scale it back to maybe... I mean, just the way they were doing it was cool. Like with I think they could have done it more, and I'm sure they'll do it better next time because they're smart people. Like I paid attention to the original tournament they did, that Vile State one, the kind of the one that was like $3,000, but they've kind of just continued to grow it. And in terms of mixing in the CSL matches, like if you just like they had 2 streams up, so you just take the second stream and say there's going to be CSL matches and pro matches on here, and then on the main stream that's only pro matches, and then you'll get people watching both, and then people will start to kind of identify more, and then just it's the same thing as college sports in the States. Like I don't pay any attention to them, but I know they're huge, and if you can just kind of keep growing that, and then that's where you kind of feed into the professional thing, and then you can do things like, hey, pro players don't need to like drop out of college, right? You can actually have some balance, right? Like it's just it's like a healthy sign of growth, I would say.
Yeah, well, more teams need to do this. I think
sustainability.
I mean, this doesn't get off the ground without Quantic, basically, and other teams need to do things like this on this level, and also it shows the big boys like, oh wow, look. Like the teams want to sustain, right? They need sustainability. They need to have fresh income. What better way for a team to go ahead and demonstrate that they're equitable to go ahead and show off your brand than doing something like this? I mean, the views were insane, right? So when you go to those major sponsors in esports, NOS, Monster, whatever, what have you, Red Bull, it's much easier to pitch to them saying, well, look, we did this great event in Texas, and we did it with the use of this university. And I mean, it's you used the word earlier, actually, at BZ. It's sort of like the perfect storm for the team. Like they should capitalize on that more.
Yeah. They could even in the future maybe make this some sort of recruitment area. Like we're gonna hire one person on our team that wins the tournament in the lower brackets or the amateur quote unquote players. And that would be a huge draw and a huge
what
promotion.
Would be great, do it like any other sport where the best amateur in the world, just like in golf, you have amateurs that are invited for the Masters. The Masters is an invite-only tournament, but they've got the best of the best, and I think they have 2 slots for the best 2 amateurs in the United States. So you can have the best 2 amateurs in the world if you want. I don't care who what the seating is, but that's great because that just introduces you to. That's another storyline, right? Can these amateurs even win a game at a major event?
Yeah.
Your MLG or IPL.
One thing they did when I was at that Minnesota LAN is the winner of that LAN got basically, I don't know if it was all expenses paid, but they got a competitor pass and some guest passes and stuff to go to the MLG Winter Championship. So in their 1v1 day at the Midwest Meltdown LAN that I was at, Everrise ends up winning. So now he gets a competitor pass and stuff to go to MLG Columbus and actually try and win against some of the top dogs. I think for these college-level events, you don't even necessarily need the pro players there. They will definitely help with viewership if you do have like a pro show match or something there. But it's all about how you build the story, right? If you can build up the story that these are some top players and maybe they're in college so they don't have time to jet set around the world, but you're willing to give 2 or 3 of them, like you're talking about, a pass to the next event, and that's what they're playing for.
You
can
right there.
build a storyline around that, and people will watch because they'll want to see who's going to get sent to this event.
That's essentially what they do, in the golf world, and works great, and people appreciate that. I think it just goes one step further to legitimizing esports.
Yeah, you need those feeder players. You need the new players. For any esport to be successful, you need those new names coming up the ranks, building up a following, who all of a sudden unseat. You need those people like at some of the MLG events where you had like a Trimaster or something. To keep it interesting, you need those new people to come out of nowhere and do really well, because if you never have that, it's the same old guys over and over again, it's still good for the hardcore fan, but for the casual fan, it'll get more boring. It won't be as interesting as if you have somebody new getting a shot and all of a sudden rising up the ranks like a Stefano did or something like that. Came out of basically nowhere with IPL 3 for a lot of casual viewers and just all of a sudden wins a tournament, and it's like, whoa, who's this guy? And then he just goes on a tear.
Yeah, these tears. It's funny. It's like these peaks and valleys for these players throughout a season, right? Let's just break it down into quarters of, oh, he's the greatest player that's come out this season, fantastic, and then he goes into a slump. Like, oh, he's the worst player now, he'll never be the same. Like, it's so fast-paced now because of information in the internet that a player that's... Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Nestea, okay? Artosis, throws him out there, says this is the best player alive, he is king of the Zerg, and then ST starts to hit a bit of a slump. I don't think it's even a slump. I think its players are starting to get to his level of understanding the game, the metagame, build orders, everything about StarCraft 2, because that's how new the game is, right? And so he doesn't fall down anywhere. People just get to his level. That's what I think is happening a lot, even between the foreigner scene and the Korean scene, is these players are understanding better the mechanics of the game, have more time either to strategize or watch a lot of the VODs of other players they're going to be up against in future tournaments, and have made or found some sort of regiment that works for them that can put them in the top tier of whatever league they're in. Either it's, you can bring up the Korean scene, the European scene, the North American scene. It's all kind of becoming one scene because we're seeing a lot of these players go to these different events. We had 2 Europeans at the Lone Star Clash. Which to me is a really big deal because I'd like to see a lot more of the European players. All right, I want to take a second. Let's take a step back from this. Dylan, because you haven't talked at all yet, buddy, but you're here for the fighting game community. With fighting games coming to the MLG Pro Circuit, do you think that a lot of what translates as an esport for StarCraft 2 players can see in fighting games, or is it a different beast altogether?
And I think it's run its course through. I just think it's more refined right now.
Okay.
As a community, just because it travels from game to game, so it stays alive and really powerful from game to game. So it really never loses its luster. I'm really excited about Mortal Kombat coming to MLG. It's going to be, of course, it's been there for a little bit, but now it's finally its own event. We've had little things here and there. I believe I don't forget what event it was, but it had its own. It had a bigger crowd at times than some other games we won't really talk about today.
Yeah, I was there. It was really cool to see that. But that kind of streamlining background is the arcade. These games, you had the professional tournaments in arcades, and that's where a lot of this community was built from. You didn't have that with. I mean, you had like LAN parties and stuff for PC gaming, but it was different with the fighting community.
Right.
And so, I don't want to say there's bad blood, but there's some apprehension between the fighting game community and larger esport style tournaments like MLG, Is it because they've been doing their own thing for a long time, and MLG or other kind of companies don't understand that? I mean, what is it? Do you think exactly?
I don't think that's the mindset of the majority of them. I think that's the mindset for the immature, I guess you could say, of the fighting game crowd. If you look at, like, I was just reading an article today about all the higher end pros for Mortal Kombat saying how the step towards MLG is what exactly everybody needs, and to bring this grassroots type fighting game community all together to a bigger community like MLG. I think that's what everybody wants, and I think that's I think it's a step in the right direction, and anybody who thinks it isn't, I just think they're doing it because it's the hipster thing to do.
I have a question about I mean, obviously, the events I've seen. I did an article on this about a year ago, actually. Fighting game, to me, seems like all of it, and don't take offense, anybody in the fighting game community, please, because I see where you're coming from. But at this stage of the game,
esports.
No. At this stage of the game, they don't seem professional enough. Like, they want their events to get the recognition of an SC2 or of a StarCraft, but what I see there is, like, casters that aren't dressing in sport coats, and it seems way more laid back, and every documentary I see on this is, I don't want to say it's a sense of entitlement, but they expect more, and I don't think until you present yourself as organized, more professional, and equitable, then you're going to get that next level of
I
think
that's the reason, because nobody has done it yet.
Well, I mean,
there hasn't been.
Look at StarCraft. Look at, like, the StarCraft 2 players. Like, a lot of the people who are popular now, the way they presented themselves back in, like, the Brood War days, where they had like 10 people watching at a WCG crowd or something, was a lot different. The image they portrayed than they portray today. Guys like In Control, even to some extent, guys like Sean and stuff, weren't exactly the professional model citizen that you see them as now, because they get it, right. They understood that if they're going to continue to get new people watching, they're going to get those people who might be easily offended watching too, and they're going to get more sponsors who are going to be really careful about what they want to support because they don't want to have a blemish on their record. They realized they had to grow up. They had to, have their casters put on the sport coats. They had to watch what their language was, and their public persona needed to be a lot different than it was when nobody cared, right? As soon as sponsors are starting to look, and like Capcom talk about throwing like $500,000 at your group, you need to go, wait a minute. If Capcom's willing to finally support this and throw $500,000 into the FGC community, maybe now it's time that I need to think about cleaning up my image a little bit, because I want a piece of that. And if you don't want a piece of that, like, I mean, I don't think any fighting game community member would say they don't want a piece of $500,000. But to say that, like, I'm not going to be professional, but pay me, it's like, what world does that work in?
It seems to me that there is certain, like, I'm certainly an outsider, but it's like there's a lot of people in the fighting game community who it's like they don't want to be professional gamers. They just want to keep their 9 to 5 and then go to events and
that's how it comes across.
And I mean, that's fine, right? I mean, that's where it's like, you know what, MLG, like, that's like, leave the word esports alone. I hate the word too, but like, that's professional gaming. Whereas, and even still, it's arguably not, because these guys don't, many of them at least, don't make real money. But it's like, it's trying to be professional gaming. Where the other fighting game events, they're not really. It's not trying to be a professional gamer. It's just like doing a tournament, right? Like, it's just something else entirely to me.
But it seems like their community, like, as a community, it seems like they want attention and they want to get paid, but it's like they don't want to do any of those things that you need to do to actually get to that level.
So,
they want
Dylan,
people just to pay them
now that we've trashed
to be who they are.
I think Nursky, they want to do it in their own way. And they're afraid that if another company, an outside company, like Major League Gaming or IPL or NASL or a European company that wants to come in there and said, hey, we want to make this huge, but we're going to do it our way. And you have to dress like this, and you have to do that, and you have to do this. It feels that they're sacrificing some part of their spirit that they've had at these Evo events and other events. I don't know if that's true or
do
not.
it their way when you're sexually harassing women on TV. That way will never work.
Okay, but no. That's an isolated incident. That doesn't speak to fighting. But my whole thing is like
that way for sure.
No, but who, like, it's not like MLG's got strict rules on dress. You don't have to come in a tuxedo. I'm saying it's not even the players. Let the players do what the players do, man. It's the guys that are putting together these tournaments and the production people that need to step it up. They need to make it look nicer. It needs to be crisp. It needs to look like it could go on TV. It needs to look appropriate for sponsors. It needs to have casters in suits. That's what it needs.
Yeah. There's a certain standard now. I mean, and that's production standards, period. That's been, it's class. You got to have class to it. You have to have some sort of attractiveness that people that don't play the game or know anything about esports, that have money, say, oh, this could be a lucrative investment because I want it to grow in its own sphere, not, hey, let's pump a bunch of glitter and flashy effects and stuff and see what happens. That's not how you build an appropriate production value for that.
I don't know. I've seen some of the nicest production value out of the fighting game community, like watching Cross Counter. It's always really nice. I watched a lot of Canada Cup last year with Ultra David and his co-caster. I don't actually know his name, but like some of them look pretty polished. Like I think like they've got I don't know. I wouldn't shit on it that much. Like
well, I'm not.
I think they do a good job.
We're not trying to. There just seems
and I'm just
there's
basing
this
this
divide.
off the 2 documentaries I saw.
Yeah, there's
two documentaries I saw. That's all I'm basing this off. You're right, Adabisi. I don't have enough data to.
I don't think any of us do. Yeah. So
right.
No.
I mean. Yeah.
Well, I would love to have a Capcom game on there, but I'm really excited for Mortal Kombat as well, Dylan. But we'll get back to that more with the different games that are going to be on the pro circuit. But we need to jump into the brackets and the seating.
Do we have to? Like, Dylan got nothing to say there.
Yeah, I want to hear from Dylan here. I feel like we're
all
just
right.
talking.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was gonna have him brood a bit and then unleash when he talks about the games. But Dylan, go ahead if you have a rebuttal.
Well, let me get out the shovel and dig out the hole that I'm in. Hold on.
I'm so sorry.
This is insane.
Use my big cup.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, I need that. I need the coffee and a lot of happy pills. But what were we even talking about? I don't even know.
Just a bunch of shit, man.
It went to a bunch of dudes. It went to a bunch of dudes talking about nothing they knew except I like to hit buttons and do fatalities. That's what it turned into. I don't know. I'm excited for the fighting games to be there. I'm excited to meet the players. I'm excited to meet Justin Wong. That's me.
I think it's a really nice. I mean, I've always said that a really nice scenario for a tournament could be having an MOBA, having StarCraft, and having a real-time strategy, and having fighting games, because that's a completely different game for each section. Maybe a first-person shooter, Counter-Strike.
Yes.
But, you know, like, I just feel like those 3 games complement each other because they're so different. You have, like, the quick matches of fighting games. You have the long, drawn-out games of MOBA. You have, you know, StarCraft is in the middle. You have a lot of strategy, chess. I like the complementary aspect of having such a vast majority of games. And I really like what the fighting game community brings to this MLG. And we're bringing 3 games. And a lot of the competitors are competing in all 3. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Mortal Kombat bringing the most money. But, it's going to be a lot of fun just because we get to see a whole new aspect. We're going to see a lot of yelling. We're going to see a lot of cheering because these matches end so quickly. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to hear a lot of cheering coming from a game besides StarCraft 2. I mean, we would hear cheers for some other games during the finals, but it would be kind of dead for the days. Or you have the long marathons during the day for StarCraft 2, and then we'd hear a couple excitement little chatter going on for the other games, but it wasn't until the finals that we really saw a huge outburst of energy from the different fans. So look forward to that for the fighting games, because watching videos of EVO and seeing how intense the crowd got for those games, I think it's going to add more excitement to the floor, and more fans are going to get a kick out of it.
And Mortal Kombat goes so far back. I mean, everybody can relate, even if you're not a fan or you know anything about the players.
Yeah,
I was Sub-Zero for Halloween when I was like 8 years old.
You were Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat.
I will never forget freezing somebody.
Yeah, Sega Genesis when you finally mastered the down left, triangle move.
Forget Sega, man. When I walked into a live arcade. I mean, I'm the oldest one here, but when I saw that in an arcade as a kid, and the fatality, I was like, did you guys just see what I just saw? And everyone was like, yeah. And before you know it, like 4 people were there, then 5 people were there. You had 20 people around this arcade machine like, you got to see this, watch. You know what I mean? Like, I think everybody remembers the first time they've ever seen a fatality because no video game had been that graphic before.
Well, it was groundbreaking. Like, as far as the violence level went in that game, once you put in the blood code, like, nothing was like that.
I always remember this one fatality that was, like, just the female character flashing her tits, and that, I don't know what character it was, I don't even know what game it was, but that was ingrained in that was part of my youth.
Clay Fighter.
I don't know. I remember it, though. It's real.
Killer Instinct, but that came off of the back of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But I just love Mortal Kombat 9 because it's so smooth, and that's what people are going to notice about this. And it's one of the smoothest fighters I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's my favorite one, but we'll get into that later. But now that we've pissed off the entire fighting game community that watches the show,
I'm on your back. I got your back, everybody.
Well, you know what I think is worth mentioning, Clutch, before we move on? I don't know if it's the Joe that I think it is in chat, but I mean, he was kind of, there was one of the people in chat talking about what they were worried about, you know, having to change the people that they are to end up making it successful. And I think that's that common worry in the FGC community that if they do MLGs and stuff like that, that they're going to have to change who they are as people. Oh God,
what? You're going to sell out and get more money? Oh no!
But no. But
take off the tinfoil hat, like.
But while maybe you have to watch like the big trinity of things that you can't touch, like religion, politics, you know, racism, while you maybe can't go there. I mean, I think if you watch games like StarCraft 2 and the COD communities and stuff like that that have been part of MLGs and stuff, I mean, for the most part, the people don't really change who they are. They just be a little bit careful about, like, dropping, like, a racist word or something like that.
I thought those 3 things that you mentioned that you can't touch are the only things Call of Duty players say during
sometimes.
Ooh, it's turning into that.
Oh, man. Let's shift gears before we crash and burn here. Let's talk about the seeding for StarCraft 2. Omerta, I want you to jump onto this, man, because we have some great players that have been announced.
Omerta's here?
They're going to be here. Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, it's a party now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ready to talk StarCraft.
Let's talk.
Is he drinking?
Sorry. No, I'm
just terrible.
No drinks.
Okay.
So I'm bringing up the pool here. We have Marine King, Gonzi, MC, and Sase in Pool A. Pool B, we got Dongre Gu, Naniwa, DeMuslim, and Hey Pro. Pool C, Huck, Violet, Rhett, Sock. Or is it Sake? Is it Sock or Sake?
Sake.
I think it's Zaka.
Okay.
And Pool D, Oz, Parting, Grubby, and the STC. So if you don't know what the pools were, there they are. But
I can give you the winners of each pool, by the way.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Look at all
Whenever
these
you're ready,
you can.
Look at all these Protoss.
Because whatever pool Alive gets into, he's gonna win. So
You gotta have your.
That is a lot of Protoss.
How do you know I didn't say it? How do you know I didn't think Alive would win?
I'm picking Alive for Pool D. That's here right now. He's going into that group and he's gonna win it.
Anyway, Galen, your thoughts on the seeds, on the groups?
I'm just surprised at all the Protosses. I think the groups are pretty evenly distributed with talent, to be honest. Pool D will be kind of interesting just because there's 3 Protosses like already seeded. I mean, obviously 2 more are going to come in, but you know, Dongre in 1, Marine King in 1 with MC, Huck, and I mean, honestly, Red's playing so good right now, and Violet's a really strong Zerg. Like, the talent is really evenly distributed so far, so it's hard to pick, but I don't know. I think the favorites will come out, like either MC or Marine King come out of Pool A. Pool B, I mean, Dongre is just the best Zerg in the world right now, hands down.
Do you think...
Pool C, maybe. Oh, what were you going to say, Josh?
Go ahead.
I don't know, Pool C, I think that's a pool where somebody could come up and maybe take first out of the open bracket. You know, don't know who. And then Pool D, Oz is really strong, and Parting's like an up-and-coming Protoss. So I think Pool C and D are where you can see somebody come out of open bracket and do really well, but I think A and B will be dominated by the Korean favorites in there.
Korean Destructive Force, which we have less of, actually, at this tournament, but we'll talk about that later. But for right now, Is it a clear advantage for these players that went to the MLG arena in New York City and they're seating now? I mean, what advantages do they have? Less matches they have to play, less of a marathon form. They're going to be well rested. And also the travel pay is covered for the top 16. So that's a little bit lighter on the wallets for the team. But are there any other kind of advantages for them?
Those are the biggest, though.
I mean, those are
yeah, I mean, like, honestly, having to play a best of 3, like, I mean, we've seen Koreans get sniped in the open bracket before, and it could happen to any of the top foreigners, too. I mean, if you go into, like, the open bracket against a player you never really have played against before or haven't seen many of their games, like, you can just lose a best of 3 and, like, be in a really tough spot coming out of, like, the early stages of the losers bracket. But, yeah, definitely just less games, and they have more time to prepare for their matchups, too. I mean, the pool's already out, so these guys know what matchups they have to practice. I'm not sure if the maps are out yet, though, so they may not know what maps.
They're out.
I read them on Team Liquid, I think.
There's no set maps, so it's like you just have to... You've got, what is it, 7? Yeah, you got 7 maps. You got to be ready to play on any of them. Although you get one, you get one permanent veto.
They listed Antigua, Daybreak, Dual Sight, and Tune Valley, Metalopolis, Shakiras, and Tal'Darim on TL for the tournament.
We should not talk about those maps. I'm going to have some pretty bad things to say if we talk about those maps, so...
But PvP on Tal'Darim, go!
I'm not sure if they know, like, they're not going to know until Friday, like, who they're going to have to play on what map first, but at least they have time to prepare for matchups, and especially in, like, in full C, A, and D, you know, like, each player only has 2 matchups to prepare for, which is nice. I mean, that's a nice...
FCC only has 1, so...
Yeah, FCC does only have 1.
Also PvP, so...
Well, depending on who comes in from the open bracket as well, because there's going to be 2 spots that come out of that.
Yeah, it's a mistake to just train one matchup. You really have to train them all. You can focus more, like, obviously, for, like, the STC, but... You don't know who you're going to get 2 slots. And that's the thing. I like this format a lot more because it's not just one player coming out of the open bracket into the pools. It's 2, which is kind of better, I think.
Although you do have the 16 seeded into round 5 of the winners bracket for the open bracket now. So those guys are definitely kind of like the pool play guys going to have a much easier time since they don't have to go through a bunch of random players the first 4 rounds.
It's like you save yourself 4 best of 3s. I don't think it's the advantage people make it out to be. It's just kind of like you get to slack off on the first day. Like, I mean, Idra was talking about on Inside the Game, and he's like, you know, it's just a couple less matches. It really doesn't make that big of a difference.
Mm-hmm. However, if not Idra in general, but that's easy to say unless you have to play those matches.
I mean, what's more important is the bracket draw. You know, if you've got Polton alive in your bracket, then you're screwed, you know? But if you've got, you know, like, just foreigners, then it's going to be a little bit easier. Still, I mean, that's the thing.
I mean, if you're coming from Korea...
There is no easy bracket, but...
16 hours, man.
Yeah, if you're flying from Korea, the less games, the better. I mean, this isn't practice. You don't need to warm up. Like, you're warmed up. You get there, you spend, you know... 15, 25 minutes getting set up, another hour warming up, and you're in tournament form pretty much, except for the jet lag, which, hey, everybody has to deal with to a certain extent.
Yeah, well, some of these players have been arriving a couple days early so they can get adjusted for it, which I think
is smart.
Is a smart idea, yeah.
It's really
and the best way to get adjusted, in my personal experience, is to stay up as long as you can until it's the proper time to go to sleep in the new area that you're at, and then you can wake up at the proper time. Yeah.
At a strip club. Absolutely. Every city's got one. Locate yours, head there, stay up, have fun until the appropriate time, go to sleep. Mm-hmm. That's what I do.
Oh. Well, when I traveled to London, that's what I did, and yeah.
Good for you.
Went to the strip club. Good job, Clutch.
Josh, buddy. I know. I will. And Galen's being extra quiet. Go to hell, Galen, because I learned it from you. Deny it. Go ahead. Deny that. Wait, do it. Deny it right now. I dare you.
Oh gosh.
It may or may not be the best way. I'll leave it at that.
No, I didn't do any strip clubs in London. I just meant in London in general. I went and saw a lot of shows. And yeah, my argument's not helping me at all.
Not
Stage
at all.
shows, yeah. musicals.
So your name's Clutch, is it? Do you have a big accelerator?
Oh
I can hear
gosh.
it now, buddy. They were all over you, buddy.
All
I
right.
know
All right.
They just want to have tea and biscuits with him. But going back to the brackets, like you were talking about how on Inside the Game, Indra was talking about how it's just a few less matches for those players. But to the best of my knowledge, Idra has never actually played through the open bracket. So, I mean, to some extent, he wouldn't know exactly how tough that is, aside from maybe what his teammates have told him who have been in it or something like that. I mean, almost every player we've seen that has to trounce through the open bracket, either they come out of the open bracket into pool play really hot, or they're really tired to make it into pool play, and then they just get demolished, and then
You
they're
do
into
tend to see them
the lower bracket.
peter out, like, for sure.
No, but it's like let's look at like Tyler, for example. He was in pool play, and he kind of consistently finished near the bottom in his pool, and then he lost his spot in pool play, and then he had to play through the open bracket, and he did, and then he got into pool play, and then once again he did poorly, and that's just because that's kind of where overall he's just been performing at, and so that case proves, well, it doesn't obviously prove anything, but that case like argues the point that it really doesn't matter too much. Then you got players like Lenok and Naniwa. When he won, he went through the open. Like, I mean, it's you know, I think the open bracket got a lot of shit because
NASL too.
Because that's kind of separate though, because that was like an online open bracket before the thing.
Shut up! I'm agreeing with you. Just go with it.
Yeah. Hey! It's not about agreeing with me. It's about being factually correct, Tom. But
Which is why I typically always agree with you, because
Exactly.
you're 99% of the time.
The other thing I want to
factually
add,
correct.
though,
do your homework, JP. Do it.
The other thing I want to add is just that the open bracket. It's like there were a couple MLGs where the players were there till like 2 a.m. and I mean, I've been to every MLG since Raleigh, and it was always wrapped up before that. So I feel like it's a little bit exaggerated how bad the open bracket is because of like technical difficulties and everything getting delayed by 3 hours, and then players being stuck there till 2 a.m. Right? Like it certainly does vary from player to player, though. So.
Well, the biggest grind is normally coming out of the losers championship bracket, because that's where the guys end up playing game after game after game after game after game in really quick succession. I mean, that's really the biggest grind, is coming out of losers championship. Because if you're seeded like the first round of losers championship, it's like you finish a series and now you're going to play a series, and then you're going to finish a series and you're going to play a series. And if you want to win, you're going to play like 8 series. What was it? When I was casting at Orlando, I think it was Idra or somebody was talking about how tired they were in the game before he went up against MC, because he had been in the booth being casted for like, what was like 4 series in a row or something like that, with no break really in between. It just was game. I think the open bracket probably isn't anywhere to that extent as far as like stressful on the players, because they do have a little bit of downtime between games. But I mean, I think in the overall, considering like you have that losers bracket to potentially look forward to and stuff like that, playing a few less games in the open bracket might not be a big deal on open bracket day, but as the tournament gets towards the end, those couple of series could really help you to be in a lot better condition once you get towards the end of the tournament, to have a few less games that you had to play. So, I mean, and not having to lose to some random player you don't know about is going to be huge too. So, I mean, I don't know. But
Boy, if Lenok could do it through the whole bracket, anybody can.
Well, no, that's not true.
Anybody?
Lenok is.
I'm going to MLG, guys.
He's a prodigy, and he's like he was the best set. He had the best set of tools at his exposure to do so. He's young and dumb. I don't mean dumb in a bad way. I mean young and naive, to where he's like he doesn't care. You know what I mean? He's in the United States. He's playing a tournament. He's not in high school. He doesn't have anything to fear at this point. We've seen this in all types of athletes across the board, right? They don't know any better. They're young and fearless, and he's also extremely talented, and he plays Zerg. So they're according to Adebisi, that's the perfect storm, right? So it's a lot like Stefano.
Should we pick some people out of these pools?
Well, I'm going to go through predictions real fast, and then we're going to get back to fighting games, talk about the games themselves. So I want to run through the list, and I want you guys to give your predictions. You can do it 2 separate ways. You can do the winner of the pools, or you can do the winner overall. All right, so let's start with you, Wigan.
I'll just do pools. I guess not counting the people that get seeded into them. Marine King and MC in Pool A. DRG and Naniwa in B. Rhett in C, and I don't know, Violet or Huck. One of those two. I don't think Zake will get it. Pool D, I want to say Grubby. I really want to see Grubby do well. So fuck it, I'll just pick him. Grubby and Oz. And yeah, that's it. That's all the pools.
Okay. Omerta?
Yeah, I like MKP and MC. Although, I mean, Sase is so good, man. Like, I actually think he's, like, even underrated, even though people consider him one of the best foreigners. So, like, yeah, you know, Gazi's strong. But I think MKP and MC, they're probably Dongrangu and Naniwa in Pool B, probably. I mean, the Muslim is so good, too, though. It's hard to call. In Pool C, I think Huck and Violet or somebody coming out of open bracket. Because Stefano is going to this, right? I wasn't...
Yeah.
Stefano.
Yeah,
he's on the list.
bracket.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure Stefano will... I mean, depending on what pool he gets into, if he can get into Pool C or Pool D, I think he'll just win because he actually doesn't lose to Protoss right now. And in Pool D, I think... I like Roby too, Dave, but Oz and Parting are just better Protosses, so... I think one of those two will come out along with the STC.
All right. Tumba?
Marine King MC. And I feel you on Sase, Omerta, and Wigan, but I feel like he's... Remember how Artosis said you go to Korea and learn the way the game should be played, and you sort of take a step backwards? That's the scary part. I think a little more time in Korea, and he will probably be the best foreigner Protoss, or it will be a toss-up between him and Naniwa. It's going to be close. But for right now, Marine King's playing too well, and MC always does well at MLG. So MC, Marine King Pool A, DRG, my son's freaking out, DRG, Naniwa, obviously in B. C, I'm going to, you know what? That's actually a tough one, but... Because Rhett did really well at the Red Bull, and I've been saying that like this is his year to win a major championship. So my heart wants to see both Zergs make it, Rhett and Violet. But I think it's too hard to discount Huck because he does very well at MLGs also. So I'm actually going to say Huck and Rhett, but it'll be close, man. You could substitute Violet for either one of those. And the third one, I'm going to say Grubby and the STC, because I can't go straight paper the whole way. I got to go with my heart on one of them. So Grubby and the STC, my heart with Grubby.
Okay. Adebisi.
Let's see here. I would go with Marine King and MC. I will say that I think Ganji's match is going to be must-see because he's, like, teamless, and so, like, what team he lands in, like, hedges so... I mean, not just what team, but what kind of deal he gets hedges so much on his performance. So I think his games are going to be, like, must-see. Pool B, I'd go with Dongrangu and Naniwa. Pool C, I'd say Huck and Rhett. And then Pool D, I'm going to have to go with Oz. And I think it's going to be hard for the SDC, but I think the SDC is going to get it done. And then I also think, just to add from the open bracket, I would say Polt, Stefano, and Alive can all win whatever group they get put into, possibly.
Okay. Nursky?
I think... I'm looking at Pool A to see MKP do well. I think his win in the Arena pay-per-view is going to really help to give him a boost of confidence, because I think that's always been a huge issue for him. So I think I could see MKP coming out of there. I think MC right now, I mean, he's gone a lot back to like a lot of that two-base timing stuff and whatnot, but it's really strong and he does it really well. So I'd have to go MKP, MC probably in Pool A. I hope Sase's Shout Cannon shows up because that would be awesome.
The cheer
Pool
cannon,
B,
she was awesome.
Yeah, the cheer cannon. Pool B, I feel like going DRG, and I feel like the Muslim. Like, I know Nanny was a beast, and he just rolls people a lot of times, but I'm feeling DRG into Muslim in Pool B. Pool C, I like what Rhett's done. I don't know if he'll be able to stand up to Huck and Violet, but I'd like to think that Rhett can do it. I think Huck would definitely be a favorite in Pool C. He's just always very solid in tournament play. D, I like Oz. And it's kind of a toss-up for me between Party and the STC. I don't think Grubby's going to do well in that group. I'd like to see Grubby do well because he's a cool guy, but I feel like Oz, Parting, and the STC might just be a little bit too much for him. So I'd have to go Oz and probably Parting, but the STC could definitely potentially take it. And then, real quick, looking at the open bracket guys, One person I'd like to see do well, who's been doing better lately but has had some off games, is Oxlov. And he's actually seeded into that winner's bracket round 5, so he maybe could do pretty good. Lucera's going to be a threat from the open bracket, and then, of course, Stefano, JYP. I could see any of those guys make it into pool play. And, of course, Alive and Polt.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for your insight.
What?
Oh, Dylan, you want to go?
I have the most intricate insight to this.
I thought you were busy with basketball brackets, bro. All right, do it. Let's go. Who do you got?
Pool A, gonna go with Marine King because he's a boss nerd. Gonna go in Pool B. We're gonna go with a Zerg because roaches, so Dongregoo wins. Pool C, we're gonna go with. There's no Terran here, so it's gonna be awesome to watch. We're gonna go with Violet. Pool D, no Zerg, so tie. Let's go on.
So good. Dylan, can we swear? I fucking love you, man.
Dylan boss mode.
StarCraft. You'd be probably the most loved / hated caster there was, but it'd be great.
Dude.
Yeah.
I will commentate all the roaches.
I have recently taught Dylan the art of maxing on roaches in 12 minutes.
I can do roaches.
Yeah.
Roaches are good.
It is a useful skill to have. We'll put it that way.
You know what sucks? Even as a Terran player, if I started making Banshees, you still have too many roaches for me to try to handle. Anywho.
Them tanks, man.
Yeah. We're going to shift gears here into the actual fighting games themselves.
I love when he says that.
Shifting gears. Yeah, Wigan. We're shifting gears, Wigan. There's a theme, buddy. Mortal Kombat we talked about, all right? I've already stated that, personally, that's my favorite game. I like how smooth it is. It's not like I don't like the other Capcom games, but I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Mortal Kombat since I was a kid. I just always have. But Dylan, the floor is yours, my friend, to talk about any of the games or players for the fighting games we have on the pro circuit upcoming for Columbus.
Awesome. Of course, we all know Justin Wong's going to be there competing in all 3 games, King of Fighters, Soul Calibur, and Mortal Kombat. But really, REO, CD Junior, Maxter, Crazy Dominican, RIU, all of these guys are going to be there. Chu-Fi, EG, VVV Gaming, they're all going to be sporting awesome rosters coming into these games. But honestly, it's hard to root against Justin Wong, or hard to predict against Justin Wong. Mm-hmm. But REO is playing great. It's such an open field just because there's so many new players coming. It's the first time MLG gets to see it, so it's going to be a whole new scenario for everybody. But REO and Justin Wong are just the guys I'm really waiting to see.
Cool. I look forward to watching Justin Wong as well. On Live on 3 last week when Sir Scoots announced that he was going to attend MLG, I was really excited to hear that. And then he's going to compete in all 3 games.
All 3.
Holy.
Well, he's not the only one. He's not the only one. There's a couple more.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Do you think out of any of those players a game is stronger for the other one, or what? Because I know good combos on Mortal Kombat that if I'm playing against my sister, but those combos don't translate over to King of Fighters or Soul Calibur. So he must put a lot of practice in.
It's commendable that these players can master all 3 games at such a high level. They're completely different. And we have a ton of guys in Soul Calibur 5. We have a ton of guys in Mortal Kombat. King of Fighters, not so much, but it is commendable for these guys that are doing all 3 games at such high level.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's very cool. No Capcom games yet.
No.
If you guys heard Sundance on a previous show, I believe it was called the Losers Bracket, they talked about... If you don't know the history, I don't know the history that much. I know there was some sort of discrepancy between Capcom and Major League Gaming. And anyways, so that's what a lot of the fighting game community wants to see is a Street Fighter game on the circuit.
Right.
Do you think that will be a possibility, or do we have enough on our plate? Well, I say we. Does MLG have enough on their plate right now with these 3 games?
It's like an appetizer right now. Okay. I really think it is. Once the crowds come out, once the streams just start kicking off on these fighting games, I just think there's nowhere to go but up. and Street Fighter is a good step up, in my opinion. Even if we wanted to just add it on and have competitors in all 4 games, I think it'd be a smart decision. But yeah, Street Fighter is the calling. But right now, Mortal Kombat is a really popular game, just competitively.
Yeah.
It's really big. It's really, I mean, it's balanced for the most part. But Street Fighter, yeah, a lot of people want to see it. I want to see it. It's just it's the end-all be-all, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term, for fighting games. Just because that's what rolls off the tongue when you say fighting games. It's Street Fighter. But yeah, it's got the history behind it. But Mortal Kombat's right on its tails, and it's got a huge following.
Yeah. Well, I was really impressed with the game itself when it was released last April, with the graphics, the style, the feel of the game, and even the story mode and the challenge tower. I really enjoy the game itself, and then to see that such a competitive format, I'm really excited to see. Now, this question is for everybody. I don't know if you heard this, but there was a bit of a Twitter rumor going on with Ed Boon, who is the creative director over at NetherRealm Studios, the head honcho, if you will, of the Mortal Kombat franchise. And he was talking about a Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter sort of plan. Do you guys think that would be even feasible? Is that a correct approach for the fighting game community or the developing community to start to combine a lot of these huge titles? Or is it more of just hey, it's like DC versus Mortal Kombat? I don't know what kind of official competition came out of that game, but it was not. It's subpar compared to what Mortal Kombat 9 is. But Dylan, I'll have you take the floor first on that. Do you think it would be cool to see a Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter title?
Off the top of my head, I'd say it'd be a great casual game. I think it'd be just something to talk about, something to always argue about. But honestly, as a competitive game, I don't see how that would work.
Okay, because there's 2 different styles, right? That's how I feel. Street Fighter is a lot faster and flashier. Mortal Kombat, the pacing is different. But go ahead, Tumba.
It can almost only lead to disappointment, I can promise. Because in business, it's something where there's going to be expectations. It's not always in business when you take 2 great things and combine them and net something good. For example, real-world example, you had Callaway Golf bought Spalding Golf, which was top flight and all that. And their idea was, well, hey, they've got a 10% market share, and we've got a 20% market share. So together we'll have a 30% market share, and that's just not the way it works. That's just it was a disaster in trying to go ahead, and there was egos got involved and who was in charge of what. And I can sort of see the same thing in the fighting. Like I think they need to get it right with one of them first.
It's like when they did that whole Flintstones meets the Jetson kind of thing. That was a big flaw. What were they thinking, man?
Okay, Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Son of a beast thing. Good thing you're the best.
Hanna-Barbera, man.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Halo, gentlemen. Halo is on the pro circuit for Major League Gaming. Halo is not making an appearance at NASL or IGN, 2 other huge tournaments in the North American scene. Do you guys think that Halo's still on the pro circuit because it's still a viable competitive esport title, or because of the history it's had with Major League Gaming?
Obviously the history. It's easily the history.
They're selling out competitor passes, though, man. Like
they sold 75%. That's what I saw tweeted today.
They're really close. So I mean, that's
pretty good.
Yeah.
The real question is with Halo, though, like, do they have a lot of new people getting into the competitive side of Halo, or has it gotten stale? Like, I feel like, to some extent, you basically have a lot of the same players swapping around teams to some extent. And it's not... It could maybe, with a Halo 4, stay strong. And it was definitely, the foundation of what built MLG. But I think it's still being MLG right now, just based on, trying to sell competitor passes and the people who show up to watch Halo. It kind of had its heyday, and it's definitely in a huge decline.
Oh, I think we lost. Oh, we got Nursky back. You there? You're going in and out. Bungie heard you. They cut your cord.
Or different FPS.
There he goes. Okay. Oh, he's going in and out.
Did I just lock up?
Yeah, a little bit. We got. I think we got you back.
The TLDR version, all right, I'll shorten it up. The TLDR version would be basically, is the Halo community going to support the game? Because in recent history, the support at the events hasn't been as good. Are they going to have new blood moving into the game? And when Halo 4, say, comes out, are they going to really rally together and push this game and make it great again? Or is it maybe time to replace it with League of Legends or CSGO or something like that? Is it time for it to maybe go its different way and for MLG to move on past Halo? Or is the Halo community going to do enough to give them a reason to keep it? Because it's really up to the community. If their community doesn't support it enough, why would MLG keep it?
Go ahead.
I got a better question. Will the actual developer of the game support it?
That's the linchpin right now.
Do they even care? Because there's, from what I've gathered a little bit, that sort of competitive is sort of back burner.
From what I've seen, the limited stuff I've seen about Halo 4, it looks like they do want to address the competitive aspect for it. So maybe Halo 4 will like instill some new blood into competitive Halo. I don't know. I mean, I think Reach is still a fun Halo game to watch, and they're selling a lot of competitor passes. I mean, I just don't think Halo's crowd was ever as big as like a StarCraft, and like even back in when Halo 3 and Halo 2 were the feature of the circuit, I just don't think they brought in as many people as StarCraft does. And StarCraft's a bigger game, a more international game, and I think Halo still has a relatively like a proportional showing that they always have. It's just their crowd is being dwarfed by the new games on the circuit.
I also think that Halo has the more hardcore fans and the less of the casual fans that just come to watch the game. They have some of the fans I've met of Halo just know the game inside and out, know the pros and the teams inside out and out more than any other game I've ever looked at. Like, those people know their stuff, but yeah, I mean, is the game bringing new people in? That's the question, yeah.
It kind of seems like that's always been the thing with Halo, where you've got, like, the bracket is how many teams, and then it's, 4 or 5 people per team, I don't even know, but it's like as those teams get eliminated, those become the spectators, whereas with StarCraft, it's like people go strictly to spectate, and that's right? Like, am I wrong? Or
no, I mean, you still get a lot of viewers, or not a lot, but I mean, there were definitely people there just to watch Halo, but I would agree, I think a lot of their crowd, or at least a good portion of it, was coming from the player base.
Yeah, when you're at that point with a game, I mean, games like League of Legends have huge casual followings. Is it maybe time to put a League of Legends or something as a feature game there and see if you can fill up an area equivalent to StarCraft 2 where you'd have 2 giant areas of people watching 2 games? And then, on the FPS side, do you maybe just dump Halo altogether and see if maybe the Counter-Strike kids want to come out and watch their game, or Modern Warfare or whatever? But, like, do you maybe try and do other games over on a side stage and then maybe have 2 huge crowds watching, like, a League of Legends and a StarCraft 2? I mean, what's better for the event? Obviously, the 2 huge crowds versus a crowd mostly made up of competitors for a game. So, I mean, if people who love Halo don't want to see it disappear, they need to start showing up like the StarCraft 2 people do. They need to start spreading the word a lot more and getting more casual fans interested in it, because otherwise I can't see a smart business decision for MLG to keep it if they can't put butts in seats by having it on the circuit.
Yeah.
Really quick, I'm sorry. Is this not the most sentimental thing? Like, aren't you guys sad talking about this? This was the game that really just brought the Halo or MLG. Like, I don't know. This is just sad to me that we're talking about how Halo is on its way out. I mean, I don't know. I just feel sentimental about this whole thing.
But can you let sentiment overlap good business sense? Like, it's sad.
Oh no, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying it's just sentimental. It was just an open thought.
Well, it's also the history of video games, especially in a series that has had 4 installments since it's come out, compared to StarCraft 2, where it's in its technically 3rd installment. You have StarCraft, then Brood War, then StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. they're almost different beasts. You know, Halo 1, when it came out, there was no internet functionality really for Xbox. That was a game you got together and play with your friends. And then MLG built on that. It said, hey, why don't you get a bunch of your friends together and compete for money? Compared to what StarCraft is, which is an international experience that we didn't get to see as much in the North American side as far as broadcasts on the internet, because broadband internet wasn't there yet. We didn't have that kind of access of information, but what we did have was portals of information like the Team Liquid website. But when you, and this is my opinion, when you have a PC title that's more international compared to a console title that's more based in North America, the support viewer-wise, either in person or online, is going to be bigger. And especially with the foundation of what StarCraft 2 was, is all of that transferred over, and that's why it dwarfed Halo. It wasn't because that like the North American fandom of Halo wasn't there anymore. It was the fandom of the world for StarCraft 2 was transplanted into the MLG scene, and then the people there thought, wow, this is way bigger than Halo ever will be because of that.
Yeah, but thanks to Halo, it got a lot of that recognition. Like, without the house that Halo built, StarCraft 2 wouldn't be where it is today.
Yeah.
So we do owe FPS a certain.
But that's like, couldn't they have done it with any game? Like, does it really?
Okay, I don't care if they could or couldn't. The game they did do it with, though, was Halo.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless, I mean, I'm really happy that that happened. And you know what? Yeah, I've been on some of the FPS shows, even though I'm not an FPS player, and I have to say, you know what? The community realizes where they're at. They're not really in denial of where they are, and they're willing to make changes and maybe go back to it and build it grassroots all over again. And if they do that and they can succeed there, then obviously they can succeed on the bigger stage.
Yeah, it'd be sad to see Halo go. But
yeah, agreed.
At least MLG, I mean, I think MLG has done a really good job of paying homage to it, even though it's pretty much its popularity's really, like, not gone past, like, X point, right? It's nowhere near as big as StarCraft, but, I mean, they've still kept it around for a while. They could have dumped it for League of Legends or something already, and they haven't.
Well, we need to move on, gentlemen, because we're running low on time, but this moves into MOBAs, particularly League of Legends, where we've seen it on the MLG Pro Circuit before, but has not happened this season so far. But the huge crowd that MOBA brings, be it League of Legends or Heroes of Newerth or Dota 2, you know, that could double or triple the size of a viewing crowd for a game like Halo. And the future of MOBAs is really, I think it's a pretty optimistic future, because the pattern of what Riot has done with the freemium content and the release of new content, it might not be the most balanced content, but they make certain adjustments and patch adjustments for the different champions, is a really good format. The structure of the developing company is more flexible when it comes to, okay, we want to make this into an esport. All right, here's what we can do. Compared to releasing a title and then working on a title for the next 2 years to be the next installment. You guys follow what I'm saying? Like, these kind of developers have that kind of flexibility to continue to mod the game and to oversee it as far as an esports title, instead of, oh, well, we released this AAA game, now we need to develop the next game, and tech support will take care of any kind of bugs or things you guys have, and DLC packs will come out in the next couple months, but we need to focus on the next game, the next big blockbuster. So what do you guys think? MOBA is definitely part of the esports community, or just a flash in the pan, we're going to, like other games that we see and then disappear after a couple years?
Definitely not a flash in the pan.
Okay.
Especially League of Legends, just how popular it is because it is free. They're going to get a lot of casual players, and a lot of people that just end up playing the game so much that they get competitive at it or enjoy watching competitive play. So, and I mean, the viewership numbers for League of Legends are just ridiculous. They kind of blow even StarCraft out of the water in a lot of the tournaments. So,
yeah,
I was really sad to see no League of Legends specifically at MLG. From what I understand, Dota 2 is the more hardcore game. It's the more competitive competitive game. Or
I think there's more elements to it.
Yeah. But honestly, like, I've tried watching Han and I've tried watching Dota 2, and there's just something about League of Legends. Like, I just find League of Legends enjoyable to watch, whether it's like something as simple as the color palette or just like the action looks more exciting. I don't know. There's just something about League of Legends that I find attractive to watch.
How much League have you played compared to how much Dota and Han?
That's true. Well, I haven't.
Because I mean, I'm the same.
Like, no,
I played Dota on Warcraft 3, and so it's like I can watch that game. I don't really do it much, but it's like I can't watch the other MOBAs, so
yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the challenge of MOBAs.
I had even when I knew nothing about League of Legends, I remember turning on some streams every once in a while and just like kind of being able to figure out what was going on, and it was just pleasing to look at for some weird reason.
Okay. I kind of agree with Omerta. There's something about the art style of League of Legends and more the backstory of the champions that I like. I've played Dota 2, I've played Heroes of Newerth, but it's my personal preference is League of Legends. And it's not. I'm not saying the other games are bad in any way. It comes down to that kind of style. But to get close to wrapping up the show here, gentlemen, I firmly believe that MOBAs and the style of gameplay that was introduced as a mod for Warcraft 3 that has now become its own game type is here to stay. And we have seen the numbers, the hundreds of thousands of viewers that have watched different tournaments just for League of Legends alone or for other MOBA games. That, yeah, this is definitely here to stay. But to echo more of what Galen said, Omerta said, I am sad that I don't see a MOBA game for this season for Major League Gaming, but that's why they have these different seasons to add or take away different games, depending on whatever kind of plans they have. But speaking of Major League Gaming, they secured more investment money, around $11+ million. Does this growth bring quality, or is it the quality of the production or whatever you have now that brings growth?
You obviously have to have a product. Yeah, you've got to have a product that you can sell to investors. And I think MLG has made a lot of really good improvements over the last year and a half, especially in their production value, like the people they're bringing in. Like the show just looks, compared to 2 years ago. Like I've been watching MLG for a long time, and just compared to the Halo production from 2 years ago, like what they have now, like the big stage with a lot more seating. Like, just the whole atmosphere is a lot more exciting. So they have a great product to sell to investors, and I'm sure they have the numbers to back it up too.
No, I think there was no secret that they wanted to do the thing in Ohio. And I don't know anything about it. Like that, I don't have any inside information on this or anything. I know the same as everybody else knows, and I think that it was clear that they wanted to do a GOM studio style in Columbus. That was the rumor, and then it seems like the investors were like, okay, well, until you can prove that this makes money, another round of investment may not even be feasible. Show us it can make money. Right after pay-per-view, it's a safe assumption that they're going to build a studio. I mean,
well, it sounded like there was a hang-up with negotiating with the city, too.
Regardless, you could do it anywhere. I mean, fine, move on. I mean, I've dealt with cities. I dealt with opening a strip club, not the easiest thing to do in a city at all, right? Way harder than, I would say, even a studio or building permits for that stuff. I couldn't even get a sign permit to put a sign up. So I understand that well and good, but they don't have the rigors of having to do it in one city. They've got an entire nation where plenty of people would love to have jobs and would welcome them into their city because it's a moneymaker. All these kids turn out to come see this, right? It's almost like putting a stadium to a much, much smaller scale, but on a microcosm level, it's like putting a stadium in your back door where you're going to have backyard where you're going to have plenty of kids filtering into this thing. So
you have more control. You have more production value control. You don't have to go to different cities and different convention centers that have different internet hang-ups or any kind of ISP
No, they did
issues.
it in New York. I mean, they made it work in the offices. Now, I've never seen the offices. Clutch, you've seen the offices. I think Omerta and Wigan, you guys have seen the offices beforehand. I saw them for what they did for the show. I have no idea of how much of a transformation it was. I know that, apart from the casting, because I'll be non-biased here, like the casting rooms, they sucked. Like it was a white wall with a picture, but it was the best they could do at the time, and I can promise they'll only get better. Like they're not going to make excuses. It was bare minimum because, that was one of the obstacles that they had in the way of getting this thing together, and it really didn't take away too much. But when everyone's used to seeing such a high bar that MLG sets, I could understand how a lot of people complained about, they were just in, it looked like they were in just a white room, as apart from the studio that they had. So I think that's where that investment money, obviously should go, is into higher production and better production in building some studios. I
think it should go into paying people more that they have now.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah. Holding on to that talent.
I think that's
$11 million is a lot of money.
Right? Yeah. The next logical step is going to be to build a paid base of employees eventually, hopefully, so that you have professionals, people who can work 24/7 a day and making the production the best it can be, instead of people who are like, I'll show up.
Well, I mean, they had
send me a plane ticket.
They had that though, and then that didn't work. Like
they did
that's why they're lean and mean now. Well, no, I mean, I think it's...
wasn't it mostly writers though, show hosts? I mean, it wasn't like a lot of just production staff.
Yeah, but that's all they left. They left they're lean and mean. But again, lean does not mean efficient, and I think that's something that they'll have to learn. Again, this is completely independent of MLG. Yeah. Lean doesn't necessarily mean efficient, and but MLG is very good at two things: learn as they go and apologizing. So if they screw up, they're going to get it right the second time. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to make a 180, but they can do it, man. If they screw up, not a problem. They'll 180 for the next one for sure. Dallas to Columbus. I mean, there's countless examples of them doing it. But I agree with Clutch, though. Like, I think that IGN's approach seems to be... I don't even want to say it's not thought out better. It's just they seem to approach it more as a serious company with...
I think MLG is in an interesting position because they're kind of transitioning, whereas IPL is just kind of building something from the ground up, right?
Right.
And they have the backing of IGN behind them.
News Corp, baby.
The News Corp, yeah. Huge corporation.
But you know what? They also have a...
Who knows how much backing they...
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I don't know the numbers.
No, that's
enough to pay quite a few people quite a bit of money. That's
but you know what?
Lost their ass on their events.
You know what? I agree. You're right. You know what? They have full-time casters that get paid. I get all that. But you know what else? MLG's been around a long time, and the propensity for IGN is, if it doesn't work, fold up. Look at Team Rain. That's one example, right? Like, it's there one day, gone the next. And IPL is no different, man. It could be one of those things that's here today, gone tomorrow.
Could be.
I don't think, but it's possible.
Yeah, the possibilities in esports are optimistic, but there's also the decline of what can happen. And what's tough right now is I see a lot of kids that come up to me or that come up to us like, oh, I want to get involved. How do I get involved? How do I get involved? It's like, kid, I don't think you know what you're asking.
No.
You don't.
No.
You want to get involved, you need to do a lot of stuff for free. And you need to understand that you need to create your own content and put your own name out there and to start to create your own audience and understand that you really need to love what you do because you are not going to see compensation that you deserve for a long time. Now, hopefully, by this sort of token of MLG getting that sort of money from investors, that people that do have a good business sense, that are putting money into the scene that they want it to grow, will understand that in order for it to grow and be sustainable is you have to have staff that knows what they're doing and is passionate about it and is rewarded and compensated because of that passion and because of their work ethic and because of the wonderful product that they create.
I can't believe we're getting into this again because
that's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say about that. But we've talked about this before. I just want to
say that everybody, and agreed, and I think we can all agree, so people don't get the wrong idea here, is that MLG currently has a phenomenal staff. It's a shame that some of the writers got let go. I agree. Like, Omerta, you're a fantastic writer. I loved your BlizzCon article, of course, on the Protoss changes. I thought it was really cool. And, no, I mean, all of your writing's really, really good. And, that's the unfortunate side of business.
I see how it is. All right, go
on. It has to happen. Sorry. But no, I just...
fighting game community guy under the bus, Tumba.
How did I do that? What happened?
No, it wasn't fighting.
It was Call of
no.
Duty, right?
It was a Call of Duty. Anyway, keep going.
Anyway, at any rate, you know what? I just think that MLG, but we're not bashing MLG in any way, shape, or form. We're just being independent and
yeah, no,
this is non-biased.
This is the scene. This is what esports is about right now, man. A lot of people can't make a career out of it, and I don't want.
Well, teams don't even have. Look, teams aren't sustainable right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone looks at EG as a measure of success when it. You know what? There's sort of this kill or be killed attitude I know with some of the teams as well, and they don't even realize that if a real business comes in here and wants to kill them all, they can. A Red Bull can come in here and slaughter all of them if they want. They've got the money to do so and take all the players and do it their way. Like that can happen. So right now there is no stability, there is no safety, and hopefully within the next couple months I'll be injecting some of that with some new things that we'll be rolling out. Not with MLG, quite independently. That will be a lot of. It'll be a little shock and awe, I think. Yeah. But
movers and shakers.
Moving and shaking some things. Not even Clutch knows about this.
Nope, I don't.
He should, but he doesn't answer phone calls.
It's because I'm in school for another month and a half.
I spoiled it all, Clutch.
Oh my god.
And Tumble would have been like, no.
Well, wrapping up that idea, guys, is I appreciate everything that you put into the scene, and a lot of people don't get to see that, but I get to see that, and I wish more people got to see that, and that's why I do this show, so I can bring you guys on here in a format that the esports community can understand that this is not something that's simple and easy to do and we all have Ferraris from it. We don't. We love it. We want it to succeed because we love it. Yes, we would love to make careers out of it, sure, but we're not there yet. We want to be there. And so when we see these kind of investments money-wise, we think, hey, this is a great thing. Hopefully it goes back into the staff, the people that have helped create it. But, you know, I'm excited. I'm always excited to go to these events, to be around you gentlemen, because to have the company of people that are so passionate about the same things you are really, really helps you be inspired to continue doing what you're doing. So before we close up the show, I want to talk about one more thing here, and that is Diablo 3 release date has been announced. May 15th. Yeah, I am playing this GIF over Tumba's. My favorite GIF.
Play the game.
My favorite GIF. This kid's excitement is through the roof. Oh my god!
Action from all life. Don't call my cell phone. Don't bother me. It's going to be SWOTOR times 20.
Yeah, exactly. Wigan took a week off of work.
Good for Wigan.
Fuck yeah.
Blizzard called me and said, when are you graduating? I said May 4th. They said, okay, does May 15th work for you for Diablo 3?
Work for you.
I said, sure, Jay Wilson, no problem. And so, therefore, May 15th. That didn't actually happen, by the way. It was David Kim
national week-long
that
holiday.
called me, not him. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't get a phone call from Blizzard. But I'll take off this GIF so we can see.
No, leave it up. I love it. All right. That's me. That is me.
Finally, man. Finally, it's happening. I can't wait. Some people in chat had asked would they want to see Diablo 3 at an MLG event. Dude, I would love nothing more than to cast a PvP matchup of 5 versus 5 of the greatest PvP Diablo 3 players in the world today. I would love to do that. And you know who else would love to do that? Sundance D. Giovanni would love to see Diablo 3 somewhere in an esports realm because he's really excited for that title. Am I putting words in his mouth? Maybe, but I'm really excited.
He has been removed from the CBUS broadcast.
In an interview, they talked about, are there any other titles that you're really excited for? And he said Diablo 3 is something we're really excited for. So I am really excited for Diablo 3. I have played the PvP. I think it can be a great esports title. It's a lot of fun to watch, and it's a lot of fun to play, and it's really fast-paced. So we shall see what happens, but May 15th. And we won't even have PvP when it first is released. It'll be just...
They talked about delaying it.
Just solo
they're gonna delay it.
Yeah. That's fine with me.
Dude,
I plan on playing solo anyway.
If people really want to see it on MLG, all they gotta do is tell MLG, and I guarantee you Sundance would look at something like that. If like millions of people are screaming PvP at MLG,
yeah,
they'll probably do it if they think a bunch of people are going to show up and watch it and play and participate.
You know what we could do for the Dr. Pepper stream if they hire me to do their arena up in New York City? We'll just do a stream of me playing Diablo 3, like hardcore mode or something. People will watch that. Oh gosh.
You don't need to boost the show. You just go play Diablo 3.
Yeah. Anyways, gentlemen,
don't allow me to bet anybody to change my hair color again.
Yeah, how's that going?
Thanks, Hawk. Well, I couldn't do it because I had a really important meeting in Las Vegas, centered around esports, and I can't do it because I have another one coming up.
I'm sure you'll dye your hair sometime.
No, it's going to happen though. It will
So many
happen.
excuses.
It will happen right after Cebus, I promise.
Nice. Well, just if you do come up to my graduation, then have regular hair because my parents.
I don't know. I can't miss your graduation. I don't think that's like a must not. When is your graduation?
May 4th, and then a huge party at my parents' house May 5th. So it'll be a good time.
But giving them reasons to not do it.
Yeah, man. Done with school forever. Really looking forward to it. All right, gentlemen, let's wrap up the show. Appreciate everybody coming on. Columbus, Major League Gaming Pro Circuit. Let me get into my announcer mode. Hold on, real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Columbus, Ohio, it is the Major League Gaming Winter Championship. Introducing the co-founder and CEO of Major League Gaming, Sundance D. Giovanni.
It's really good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens if they want to do that. Anyway, really looking forward to it. I will be an interviewer, MC, announcer, wherever they need me to fill content and time. Wigan will be there. Omerta will be there. Tumble will be there. Dylan will be there. Adebisi will be there. Unfortunately, Nursky will not be able to attend, but he will be one of the greatest spectators of all time happening there. And I'm going to be sure to give a shout-out to the Onog, Virginia Barcraft in Richmond, Virginia at Buffalo Wild Wings. So I got to make sure I do that. But we're going to go down the list of shout-outs. Wigan, you're first.
Shout out to you for having me, man. Follow me on Twitter, MLG_Wigan. I'll be streaming a lot soon, and come say hello to me in Ohio if you're going to be there. I'll be the one with the mohawk.
Yeah.
Omerta?
Sorry, my mic was muted. Are we good? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. It's right below my picture here. I stream a lot. I get really mad at the Marauders and bad League of Legends teammates. So if you want to watch me rage or get very excited when I win, check that out.
Cool. Tumba.
Big shout out to you, Clutch. I mean, a dream of mine is about to be realized. It's casting at Columbus. It's going to be a very emotional event for me because last year I watched Columbus from at home with a streaming party when I was just, doing Amateur StarCraft Weekly, casting that. So it's a dream come true, and you made that possible. And I appreciate it. And may I just say that, obviously, huge shout out to you. Thank you so much. You're my older, younger esports brother. And you know what? Shout out to Nursky, who, look at the guy, man. Looks like damn Jay Leno. The guy looks like he could be hosting a show right now. Has the green screen, has the, the man is just the pinnacle of casting. And I wish he was there for this event. I really do. I think that
maybe next one.
Yeah, man. I just wish there was an unlimited budget we could get everybody to, because I feel like Nursky's got a huge following and he sort of personifies professional. So my second shout out will be to Nursky. So thank you guys.
Okay, thank you, Tumba. Adebisi.
Shout out to Clutch for having me on. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. I'm excited about Columbus. It's great to be on here, getting kind of hyped up for it. I think tournament's going to be good. I'm excited to be observing, so if you do watch the main stream and tell me what you think of the observing.
You
because,
son of a
what? What son of a bitch? What?
Don't watch any other streams.
Oh.
Just watch mainstream.
Hey, no. This is the thing. You watch the mainstream muted while you're watching Tumba cast on the other streams, because all you need, the observing's going to be so good you don't even need the damn commentary. So
it's true. Your observing tells all the stories.
No, but seriously, I'm excited because I think this is just something that has been lagging on for far too long. For a professional tournament like MLG, it's like not having a cameraman. It's kind of essential to production. So I think it's going to be good. I think it's a step up. Which is good. MLG continue to, kind of step up their game. So that's it. Just thank you, Clutch, for having me on here.
Nursky.
Oh, gotta say a shout out to, of course, Clutch and everybody else on the show. It's been a blast. Thanks, Tobias, for the kind words, Tumba. And then I gotta pimp a little bit of some of the stuff I got going on because I have my own show with the ESV map making designers, Iron Man SC, Superman, and Prodigy. That's going to be starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern on my channel, twitch.tv/Nerski, Nerski. That's going to be starting tomorrow. We're going to be talking a lot about esports stuff in relation to what the map designers and stuff do, because I think those guys in the community haven't had their heyday in the spotlight, so to speak. So I want to give that to those guys. So I'll be starting that tomorrow. Got to send a shout out to Zeke, because I cast for Zeke all the time. They're my regular gig when I'm not doing an MLG thing or whatever. And just shout out to all the fans for tuning in. Thanks a lot, guys, everybody who came to watch the show.
Yeah, we had a good crowd. Mm-hmm. Dylan.
Oh, God. Shout out to Only Things That Matter. That's Roaches, Lulu, Nautilus, the Op. Yeah, just more overpowered things. That's what I like. Follow me on Dylan J. Lowry. I will be talking about roaches and all the things throughout MLG Columbus.
Incredible.
And I will be making a brewery called Incredibrew. Nobody take that, copyrighted. Let's go.
Incredible.
Do it.
That's our sponsor now.
Do it to it.
Dylan,
He's out. Get out of here, Dylan.
Dylan, thank you so much for being on this show. Oh, my gosh.
Elvis has left the building.
What a baller. All right, before I say my shout-outs, Nerski, can you do one time in the year 2000?
Sure. Let's do it.
You know how it goes?
The flashlight? You gotta get the flashlight.
Yeah. I need a flashlight. You know what? I'm gonna blind the shit out of myself here.
Okay.
Gosh.
No,
damn.
It's like I just put like a freaking like. This is a 100-watt light bulb, by the way. Are you ready, Clutch?
Yeah, ready.
You got to do the follow up after the year 2000.
I'll do it.
Are you ready?
What the fuck is going on right now?
In the year 2000. Do it, Clutch. What's happening?
year 2000.
All
right, that's all we did. If you ever watch Conan O'Brien, they used to do a little bit when they did that. It was really funny. Really funny. Okay. Gentlemen, again, thank you so much for being on the show. Dylan's back. It's been a pleasure. I love hosting this show because I love having people like you guys on here because of your expertise. Yeah, we're still on. We'll play League in a second, buddy. Hold on.
Oh, jeez.
You can follow me on Twitter at Clutch08. I will be at the MLG Winter Championship in Columbus, Ohio this weekend. Feel free to come say hi. If you want me to autograph something, great. If you want me to moonwalk for you, great. I'll do it. I'll even teach you how to do it. Really excited for the whole event and real excited to be graduating school here pretty soon. But until then, make sure to follow all these guys on Twitter and stay tuned for Shifting Gears next week. We're going to recap our wonderful event in Columbus and try to get maybe a pro player on with us as well for StarCraft 2. This is Shifting Gears. Make sure to follow me at twitch.tv/Clutch08. And until that time, have a great night, and we'll see you all in Columbus. Take care.
Adibisi's the best. He's the best obs. He's the best obs ever. Best obs ever, Adibisi. Adibisi, best obs.